the Vivo X200 Ultra. The unboxing experience, I actually had the special box, which has all of the photographer kit included, which we'll look at a little bit later. But you get the device as always, you get a case, you get a charger included out of the box. This is a 90-watt flash charger, a USB-C to USB-A cable, as well as a SIM card tool. Now, this device, obviously being part of the X200 family, it looks quite familiar. So it looks like the X200 Pro that we've seen. I've got the silver version here, which has these kind of lines going back. They're not actually textured, so it's still smooth, but they kind of go through there. And it's also available in the red as well as the black. IP68 and IP69 dust and water resistance rating. So the IP68 is for water and how deep you can put it in water. The IP69, the 9 is pressure, if it can withstand pressure, if anybody wasn't aware. But what's interesting about this is this camera module literally like bumps out. Like you might be able to see it here. It just kind of, it's almost, I would say almost, if not as thick as the device itself, the camera module. And that's because it is a beast. We've got a 200 megapixel telephoto zoom camera, which has the equivalent of around 85 millimeters. It's an HP9 sensor. Then we've got two of the same sensors for the ultra wide and the primary. So 50 megapixel Sony LYT818. The ultra wide is around 14 millimeters and the primary camera is around 35 millimeters. We've got a slightly different aperture on both of these, but I think that's one of the first times, if not the first time, where we've got the same sensor for both the primary as well as the ultra wide camera. Now, brief testing so far, I've not really had any in-depth testing, and it's looking like an absolute beast, and especially coming from the Vivo X200 Pro, you can expect it to be a beast. Now, it's powered by the Snapdragon 8 Elite, as we can expect, so it's 12 gigabytes of RAM. You've got up to 16 gigabytes, 256 gigabytes is the base storage, but it does go up to 1 terabyte. Now, if you get the 1 terabyte version, then it will come with the photographer kit included, right? This can be purchased separately, but this comes with a case with a camera grip, which also has a 2,300 milliamp hour backup battery, and it does support reverse charging, so you can charge your device with that grip if needed. And then you've got this Vivo Zeiss 2.35 times telephoto converter. And it is insane how this literally just attaches on and becomes, almost looks like a camera rather than a smartphone. And I believe Xiaomi kind of did something similar, right? With the 15 Ultra.
Yeah, they did, but they didn't have that lens attachment though.
So they had the grip, but they didn't have the lens. So Vivo were like, hold my non-alcoholic beer. We're keeping things halal here. Hold my non-alcoholic beer. We're going to go one step further and have this absolute... It's crazy how this looks. You'll see it on screen. Now, it's got a 6,000 milliamp hour battery, the Vivo X200 Ultra, and it also supports 40 watts of wireless fast charging, right? Oh, it's also got an IR blaster too, if you're interested in that. This is absolutely stacked. I've had a look at the pricing because it's not readily available in the West. The version I've got as well, it's like, got a lot of Chinese on there. So it is very early. Thanks to Vivo for getting that out early. But the pricing that I'm looking at right now is around £900, which is quite reasonable for what you're getting.
Actually, I reached out to a seller in China, and I could get it for $950 minus shipping.
$950 minus shipping. That's dollars. So that's pretty good.
Yeah.
So you got to say, like, they have really kind of, try to go out there and really give you something that's pretty impressive. My first impressions, I'm very impressed.
By the way, sorry, that's without tariff pricing. So that's just at your own risk.
Now you're going to have to look at that, aren't you, with your tariff pricing?
Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry about that, but it's one of those things. One thing that I forgot to mention is the display as well. It's a 6.82-inch 2K Zeiss Master Color display. So it has obviously 120 hertz refresh rate, but it's also got a 1260 hertz PWM dimming, which is going to make it easier on the eyes, especially in low light situations, which is something that, I think is a bit underrated. A lot of people do like that. It's an 8T LTPO display. So, I mean, this thing is a true flagship. And for that price, even with tariffs, I'd say it's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. Now, the question, I know you're about to get into your impressions, but I also want to hear if you checked out video impressions. Remember what one of the execs said about video on this device?
Video is apparently better than the iPhone.
Yeah.
Well, that's something that I am going to have to test because it's just come through. So it was a funny story. So I was actually supposed to come last week, but then because of like the Easter break and stuff, it got quite delayed and I had no tracking. And I honestly didn't think it was going to arrive in time because I'm actually flying out tomorrow. So I will be testing it out when I'm abroad and I will be posting the results. I am definitely excited to see this because things are really heating up because we've got the Xiaomi 15 Ultra, we've got the Oppo Find X8 Ultra, and then we've got here the Vivo X200 Ultra. Now, in comparison to all of these, if I'm honest with you, the S25 Ultra is no longer looking Ultra, is it?
No, not at all. I mean, I would say it holds the Android Ultra position for video for now, till we check this out fully. But for now, that's where at least it has its strongest hold.
I mean, we are going to be doing lots more testing with this, so stay tuned for that. I am going to be doing lots of camera samples as well and just kind of really seeing how it compares to the likes of the iPhone for video and for photos and zoom with the S25 Ultra. So stay tuned for that. But if anything, if the X200 Pro is anything to go by, this thing is going to be an absolute beast.